Well, hi, my name is Demetri Boundris. I'm a real estate investor and also a realtor. Um, Today, I'm talking to Alisha and Ryan about a flip that we did recently in Hamilton, and it was a single-family dwelling. Yeah, so we basically bought a house that was in, I wouldn't say horrible condition, but it definitely needed work to it, and renovated it and resold it for a profit, of course. Is there specific questions you'd like to talk?
Yeah, if you want to touch on kind of how you got into investing in the first place, what kind of drew you to it, or what your background is.
Yeah, so my background I actually started in the electrical technology field. I studied electrical engineering and got diplomas in that area, as well as I got an electrician license. So I worked in engineering for a few years, designing automated machinery. While I was doing that, I learned about real estate, and I saw there was investing in it, and so I investigated it more. And I started in about 2004. At that time, I was buying single-family homes to rent them, and then I got into some duplexes, and later on in my 30s, and then I transitioned to multifamily. And the last couple of years, we're doing a little bit more flips, but still investing in good burr opportunities as well, like buy, renovate, refinance, repeat. The reason why we started doing a little bit more flips is because some of the buy and hold opportunities were becoming a little bit more difficult during COVID. Like there's been a lot of bidding against homes, high prices. Like the numbers just weren't working very well for us, so we started doing some flips and basically buying those properties off market. So I started in 2004, still doing it. It's been a lot of fun, and that's kind of how I got started.
Perfect. Awesome. How are you currently finding your properties?
So the last flips were off market. People that kind of knew what I was doing. My name kind of got around, and I got the referral, I guess, for that. So I went and spoke to the owners of those homes, and I was able to work out an off market deal. So that's kind of how I found those. I do search the MLS very often as well too, but I'm not sure if it's happening in the area as much as here, but we're certainly, like, almost every single home is holding offers, and you get 15 to 20 of them, and the highest bidder wins. So it's a little difficult sometimes on MLS. You really have to find that diamond in the rough, so to speak. But so sometimes off market, if sometimes you can find a deal off market a little better. Doesn't always mean it's a deal, but that's how I found the last two anyways.
Fantastic. And how many offers do you typically put in before you get one under contract? I think, especially in Ontario, it's good to always promote persistence.
It takes quite a few now. It takes quite a few for sure. And like, as you know, you have to go with a clean offer. You can't really put any conditions in. So if you want to get financing or something like that, sometimes it's a little difficult, so you kind of have to do that up front. But to answer your question, you certainly need to put in quite a few now to compete with other investors that are flipping properties or buying and holding them or doing a burr on them.
Do you have any advice for getting your offer accepted over someone else's?
I think you basically just have to keep your offer clean, get your financing all sorted out up front with if you're flipping, for example, if we use you guys, make sure that we know what we're doing. But definitely, you certainly want to get your financing sorted out first, and you just have to keep the offer clean. Like, if you go look at the property, it's kind of best to kind of bring somebody with you that you can inspect it before you put an offer in. basically sellers are just going with the clean offer now. So that's my best advice there. And you kind of just have to go with your highest and best offer, what you feel comfortable with. But the numbers have to work, like if you're flipping properties, we're flipping them for a profit. So if you're really tight with your numbers, it's, I wouldn't bother putting the offer in. But it's just very competitive now, as we all know, right across Canada. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's really good advice.
definitely.
Why don't we talk about your specific project that you just did with us and kind of talk about how the project went, if there was anything that you would have changed, what went well, just kind of run us through it.
Yeah, originally, like our budget was lower than what we spent. The reason why we did increase our spending on the property is that the market worked in our favor. As we were doing the renovation, we were looking at comparables along the way, and properties were just starting to sell higher again, less inventory in the city. So we spent a little bit more. I think things went quite well in this property. Some areas I wasn't going to spend money was landscaping and a little bit of the exterior work. So what we did is we redid the porch area, painted some of the exterior, fixed all the broken eaves troughs. We resodded the whole backyard and the front as well, and fixed the fence and everything like that. So some of the stuff in the budget that we weren't really going to spend money on. So we had the opportunity to do that. The reason why we did that is we knew that we would get a lot more out of the property, just looking at comparables. So we actually sold it for about 50,000 more than we expected to, by doing those extra things. So we also improved the staircase in the property as well. We actually redid that and did nice steel spindles with the railing and everything like that. It just gave it the wow factor when you walked in. So those were some of the extras that we did that really made a difference.
Perfect. Now, do you typically do that with all your projects? Kind of, really focus on the curb appeal, so to speak, in order to kind of get the value there for the highest price? Or is that just kind of a one-off because you saw the market was increasing? You thought, maybe it also makes sense to hold on a little bit longer and do these extra nice to haves.
I usually like to work on the curb appeal, but I think it's really important. Sometimes it's just with paint, but yeah, this particular project, we ended up changing all the railings and posts and stuff like that as well. It kind of looked a little bit like a Muskoka cabin the way it was before. So we wanted to take that out and make it more modern. But yeah, curb appeal is pretty important. Like type of properties we generally like to flip are like starter homes, single family homes, maybe something with an in-law suite, which was a property we did before. And most of the people that are going to purchase this are families or young couples, and when they come to the property, of course, the curb appeal is their first impression. So sometimes if they get a bad taste in their mouth immediately, then it's hard to get it out of their mouth, even if they walk into the house and it looks amazing. So I think it's pretty important, the first impression. So whether it's paint or you do a little bit more than that, it's important.
For sure.
On that note, do you work with a designer that helps kind of come up with those ideas, or do you do it all yourself?
Some we do ourselves, just from experience. Sometimes we take our contractors' advice. I do have an interior designer that I use as well. But the last couple of projects, we kind of work with our contractors on that, and they have some good ideas. And that's how we did it on those last two.
Perfect. Have you been working with the same tradespeople on all the projects that you work with, or how do you find, these challenging times getting reliable, reasonably priced tradespeople? Have you found that being an issue, or you have good relationships with?
We have good relationship with our trades, and I've been using them for quite a while. So yeah, so that worked out quite well. It definitely, people have had some challenges with trades. I've seen that happen certainly in the last year and a half to others. the trades can make you or break you. So you certainly want to have a good relationship with them. And the most important part is the scheduling, of course. Like that could really hurt you if you're paying high interest rates on your loans, and you can't get started for 3 or 4 months. So you certainly want to have them lined up to make the project go well. For us, we have good relationships. So to answer your question, our projects went well.
Perfect. You have any tips for managing good contractor relationships that maybe you'd be willing to share?
I think it's important to show up to the job site often, just to kind of, you have to take a look at the progress, make sure they're staying on schedule. Like, for example, we don't like, for our flips, our timeline, we generally don't like to go past 5 months. And what we do is we basically buffer a 3-month period for the renovations and 2 months to sell it. In this market, you don't typically need 2 months to sell it, but the reason why we budget to 2 months is because, even if you sold it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the closing may take another month. So we want to leave that much time. So it's very important that they get done, the construction in 2 or 3 months, so that you have that time to, market the property, sell it, and have that time to close it.
For sure, definitely. And do you have like a buffer, or say if you get a quote from your contractor, do you add like 20% to it, 30%, or do you just kind of go with the number that they provide?
I usually at least put a plus or minus 10% buffer for what's on their quote. Sometimes something could happen, like, maybe you pull down a piece of drywall and there's something you didn't expect, a plumbing pipes damage, and you got to replace it. Like you never know what could happen. So I definitely at least give myself 10%.
Perfect. Good advice. Because I think that's one thing I notice on a daily basis from reviewing people's submissions for new deals. Sometimes it can be, a little light on the renovation quote, very aggressive, like you said, with the timelines to sell. So it's always so crucial. If there's anything we can recommend on the internal side from what we see on a daily basis, just be conservative with the numbers, always expect it to go longer than expected with material shortages, like you said, tradespeople showing up as well too. So yeah, couldn't preach that enough.
Yeah, they definitely have to have a buffer, that's for sure. And the one thing I can guarantee is that you're always going to find something that you need to do that you didn't budget for. I don't think there's a project I've done that I haven't found something that I've had to spend more money on. So you certainly want to at least set aside another 10%.
What was the most expensive thing that you came across on one of your projects that you weren't prepared for?
I'm going to say probably, yeah, well, I've had like a furnace. I had to replace a furnace, something like that, so it can get pretty pricey. We've been quite lucky. Like we put our buffer in there and really looked at things carefully before we purchased something. So I haven't had anything dramatic or anything happen, but maybe a $10,000, extra, like a furnace, and replace a furnace and air conditioner, where I thought maybe I can kind of get that serviced and it would last a little longer, but it didn't. So
nice.
So you mentioned that you have an interior designer and contractors. Do you recommend anyone else to have on your team in terms of maybe, I don't know, like a lawyer, a mortgage broker, those sorts of things?
Yeah, I definitely, you definitely want to have a good, like, if you don't know much about construction yourself and how to kind of check out the property, you definitely want to have a good home inspector or a tradesperson that you can take along on the a visit to the property, certainly before you buy it. You definitely want to have a good mortgage broker on your side, someone that can help you with lending. Definitely want to have a good lawyer, that's for sure, and a good insurance provider as well, so you can get all those things done quickly.
Sure. Perfect. And looking forward into the future, you more focused on single family homes, or I know you said you were touching on multifamily. in the future, more burring multifamily, or what's kind of the vision going forward?
Yeah, I think going forward, we definitely want to do some more flips. We kind of have flips as an income stream. We do like the starter homes, but that's kind of our area. We like flipping starter homes for sure. But we're certainly still looking at burr projects. It's just been a little bit difficult right now the way the market is. But those are the two that we like doing the best. We definitely like to hold properties in our portfolio and rent them long term. So that's quite important to us as well. Hopefully that answers your question.
No, it definitely does. Definitely does. It seems like wherever you can get a deal nowadays, whatever, where the numbers make sense, it seems like just people are gravitating to, becoming a little bit more loose on the criteria for location. As long as they can get a good deal, it's under market value, they're going to be increasing the value, going to be in and out, focusing on like cosmetic renovations, nothing too strenuous. They have the power team lined up. Seems like, yeah, that's from internally from what we're seeing as well too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm seeing some investors as well. Like if they can't find anything in their own town, they're going to other provinces too. Like there are some investors here in Hamilton, I know, that are buying in Calgary, and there's some that are going to Florida. So some people are looking other places as well if they can't find something here that works. I think that's going to happen for a little while until the inventory increases. So, but kind of looking forward to see what's going to happen in the springtime. We're hoping that the inventory levels will increase a little bit, and then we have a little bit more power to kind of negotiate with sellers, and we don't have to pay way over asking like we are today. But we'll see what happens. Time will tell.
That's it. That's definitely it. Do you have any tips or suggestions for people who are just looking to get into flipping that you'd recommend, given your quite extensive experience in flips and burrs?
Yeah, definitely. If you want to do it, it's a good idea to get to work with like a realtor or maybe a coach or mentor that can help you with the numbers in the beginning, so you understand what you're doing, because you can definitely underestimate what you need to spend, and it can be costly. So I think it's really important to work with someone that understands what they're doing. I'm a realtor myself as well, so that's something that works to my advantage for what I'm doing. But I certainly help other people with looking for these type of properties, whether it's a flip or a burr project or multifamily. So I'm not saying I'm the only person in Hamilton, but I'm certainly somebody that can help. but I do advise that you work with a professional that has done it. And if you're working with a realtor, I do advise that you find one that is an investor themselves, because they do understand the numbers, and they understand what you're going through, and someone that's at least done 5 projects a minimum, I would say, in my experience.
Where do you recommend finding these individuals that are experienced and knowledgeable in that market?
So there's different investor groups that you could be a part of. You may have heard of like RAIN, the Real Estate Investment Network, or groups that are similar to that. So if you join some of these groups, or your local apartment association, networking groups with real estate professionals, is a lot of realtors that are investors themselves will attend these events. I do myself, and it's a good place to start for sure. And
awesome. Yeah, no, that's all really great advice. Was there anything else, Ryan, that you want to touch on?
No, I think you kind of hit it on the head with that. Just seems like persistence, knowing your market, just keeping at it, having a power team, working with experienced realtors such as yourself, people who understand the market, know what to look for, in order to best set individuals up for success. So yeah, really appreciate the time. I don't have any more questions. It's been super helpful learning experience on my end, and really appreciate that you use conservative numbers as well too, and always have a reserve fund to plan for a worst case scenario. Can't express that enough.
Appreciate that, yeah.
Mhm.
I'll have to say that Calvert was great to work with too. Like you guys were excellent. So I definitely would recommend you guys to anybody.
Thanks,
Process
glad to
very
hear.
smoothly.
Perfect. Really appreciate it. Can't thank you enough.
Thanks for your time.
Well, thanks. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the
Anytime.
day.
You guys
Bye.
too. Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.